This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined here today by four-weight world champion Mikey Garcia. We're here in New York on the day of Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Mikey, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You know, we're excited. You know, it should be a good fun fight tonight. So I expect the crowd to really enjoy this. You know, Anthony Joshua's first time out here, and you know he's very exciting to watch, and so is Andy. So I expect a good night.
How well do you know both fighters? I mean, Anthony Joshua, I'm sure you've watched. I know you know Andy Ruiz. How well do you know both men?
I mean, from what I've seen in Anthony, you know, he's very talented. He can box, he can bang. He's exciting to watch. At times, he's a little vulnerable, and that vulnerability kind of makes it exciting. But that gives Andy a chance. You know, Andy has power. He's got good speed to be a heavyweight, and he's gonna come to fight. Andy's here to win. You know, so he's going to come in looking for that win, which, like I said, these are elements that make it a exciting matchup. I know Andy from years ago because we even fought on some of the cards, and so I know him a little more personal. But I mean, I'm just excited to be able to see one of these fights. It could be history in the making.
Now, you've just mentioned, obviously, Anthony Joshua making his US debut. How big of a deal is it to have Anthony Joshua boxing over in the States? Obviously, we've seen Tyson Fury box over here. Deontay Wilder's obviously based here. Now we've got the third heavyweight, as it were, making his debut here. How big a deal is that for boxing?
That's huge. You know, he's a huge star in the UK, and for him to come out to the United States, you know, give us an opportunity to see him live. You know, we've seen all the fights on TV, and now, you know, being able to see him here in New York is terrific. You know, that's what, you know, back old, you know, fighters, you know, used to travel around the world fighting, you know, from what I remember of seeing videos and now documentaries. You know, Ali fought, you know, all over the place. You know, Tyson even went to Japan, and, you know, so stuff like that is what I think boxing, you know, needs for the fans to see them in person. You know, the fighters sometimes I got to travel, and so it's very good to have them here.
Also been kind of had a little mini British invasion. Kind of reminds me of when Ricky Hatton used to come over in the past. Are you looking forward to experiencing kind of a bunch of rowdy Brits packed into the garden?
Yes. You know, it's always amazing when you have a big star from the UK, you know, fighting here in the States. Like you mentioned, Ricky Hatton. I remember that, and you know, you have this invasion. You know, it's almost like a soccer field, a feel. You know, the energy is just crazy. I remember seeing Ricky, and I expect something very similar like that, or even better, because you know, Anthony Joshua is such a huge star, and he's got a lot of fans here as well. Like I said, he's a very exciting fighter. You know, a little vulnerable at times, but that just makes him more exciting to watch.
Moving away from tonight's card at Madison Square Garden, this is the first time, well, it's actually the first time I've ever met you, but the last time we saw you in the ring, unsuccessful challenge for a fifth world title in a fifth weight class against Errol Spence. Now you've had a little bit of time to reflect. What did you make of your performance against Errol Spence?
Well, it was not the best performance on my end. I felt very sluggish. I just felt slow, tired. I felt heavy, you know, weak. I didn't feel strong. It was one of those nights where it wasn't me, and I think, you know, looking back now, I know I kind of rushed into the division a little too soon. I mean, my previous fight was at 135, you know, and I only had like a 10-week camp for that fight, which I thought was gonna be enough. Obviously, it wasn't. So getting in the ring, you know, I was weighing in I think 155, 156 on fight night in the ring. You know, that extra weight definitely slowed me down. And I mean, during sparring, I felt great. I felt strong, but I was actually at a little lower weight class. I was weighing in a little lighter, and when walked into the ring, you know, that does, you know, affect, you know, the performance. You know, that extra weight, which, like I said, I had never fought weighing in at that size on fight night. You know, I've been walking around that sometimes that's what I walk around in, but it's different when you're actually fighting, and that was the main difference. But you know, I'm okay. It wasn't my night, you know, and I'll definitely be back. I do want to fight at welterweight eventually to get a title there. I feel that I do have what it takes to compete there. I just need to take a little more time, and that's what I've been training. That's why I've been training to adjust to that division a little more properly.
When you were in training camp, I know you mentioned the fact that your sparring went well, but was there any moment? I mean, you're used to kind of cutting weight, even from when you were a featherweight, and obviously a lightweight. You're having to make the weight. Did it feel strange not having to do that, or maybe you did? Did you have to make the weight, or was it very, very easy?
It was easy. There was no weight cut. There was no making weight like usual. Other nights, you have to obviously cut a few pounds. Even when I fight at 140, that was pretty easy. I had to drop, I think, 5 pounds or 3.5 pounds for the 140 limit one time. And I mean, it's not a big deal. But this time at 47, obviously, it was just there was no weight to cut. I'm not a big guy. Like you say, if you remember, I started at featherweight. I started at 126, so it was just that's a challenge. But I'm willing to fight big guys like that. And I mean, he didn't hurt me. He was on top of me a lot of for all the rounds. I was defending. I tried to pull off a couple of shots. It just wasn't there. I was too slow. By the time I tried to react, he was already stepping away, stepping to the side, keeping that reach, using that reach and height to his best of his advantage. So he was on top of his game, and Errol fought very well. He was a better fighter, and it wasn't me. But I'm sure there's other fighters, in the division that I can really do well against, top fighters, and eventually land another shot.
Was it Errol's size or his skill or a combination of both? What was it that gave you the most problems?
It's a combination of everything. I always said he reminds me of myself. He does everything very well. Nothing flashy, nothing out of this world, but everything is very effective. The height and reach complicate things. The southpaw stance complicate things. But that's what we train for. That's what we try to adjust in the gym. And once we were in the fight, like I said, it wasn't so much one thing. It was just a combination. He's got great boxing skills, and also, like I said, I just didn't feel myself. I felt slow, sluggish, and I didn't feel like I was strong enough, and just got tired too fast. So that was the big difference, like that.
What was his punching power like? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I read a quote attributed to you that you said maybe Sergey Lipinets actually punched harder with one punch. Just explain that, because it's surprising to me.
Yes, the power difference. There's guys who have power, like one punch knockout power. Other guys are just strong in size, the weight. And when they asked me to compare the two, or I made a comparison, Lipinets, hit me in 2 occasions. In the second round, he got me with a left hook, and then again when I dropped him, we exchanged hooks. And those 2 punches, I felt the punch. I felt the power. With Spence, I never felt that. Maybe he just didn't land a flush punch like that, but it wasn't a punch like that. It was more just him on top of me, and you feel the size. You feel the size. The weight. You do feel that, but the power, that pop, I felt greater from Lipinets.
Now, a lot of people in that fight, towards the end of the fight, potentially thought the fight you could have been saved for another day. I know there was a conversation that was had in the corner between yourself and your brother. How important was it for you to finish the fight? Were you ever in any danger of being stopped, do you think?
No, honestly, even though the fight wasn't going my way, after like the 3rd, 4th round, I was done. I didn't have any more, fuel in me. I was tired and just, I was trying to see if maybe I catch one punch. See if you never know, one punch could turn it around. So that's why I was still, trying. But he wasn't hurting me. Like I said, no single punch that I ever felt that, danger like that. And I was blocking a lot. I was parrying a lot. I was making him miss. He was on top of me constantly, just pressure and being aggressive. But at no single point was I actually hurt. My dad, and my brother were obviously considering, hey, maybe we got to stop this fight. And they asked me, hey, if you don't do anything, we don't want you getting hurt. But yeah, but watch, I'm not getting hurt. Watch me in the next round. And I do a little bit better, and just little spurts just to show them that I was still comfortable and not hurt at all. And I mean, I was fine. Like I said, it just wasn't my night.
Well, you're somebody who's achieved an awful lot in your career. Had a long streak, an unbeaten streak. What was it like to lose that O off your record? A lot of fighters can be very protective of it. Some fighters don't really care. What's it like for you?
No, that's not. I mean, like I said, I was not trying to just go in there, and take a loss. Of course, I wanted to win, but a loss isn't the end of a career. I mean, even though I've already accomplished that, I still believe there's more to accomplish, and I believe I can still be champion. Whether it's at 140 or coming maybe back down to 135. I can still do that right now, and I know I'm capable of winning titles at 147. I just wasn't able to do it against Spence, but I'll definitely be back, and I have full confidence that I will be champion, and there's a lot more to do.
How easy or difficult is it going to be to make 135? You put on a lot of weight to obviously make 147. Yeah. Cutting back down to 135 surely not going to be easy.
Well, I'm just trying to see what's available right now. Depending on which opponents are available, then I'll make a decision whether I come down to 140 or maybe I stay at 47 if that's going to be my ultimate goal. Then I might as well just to start adjusting now to the welterweight limit. But I'll just have to see who's available. Right now, I'm in training right now with Snack just to stay in shape and add, like I said, the explosiveness and the power like I want to be. I'll see who's available, and then we'll make that decision.
A lot of boxing fans around the world, myself included, would love to see you fight Vasyl Lomachenko. In my opinion, if you stay at 147, that fight will never happen. Yeah. Do you agree?
I agree. If I stay at 47, but I'm not saying I'm staying at 47. I would love to get a title shot at 47 again. But if it's not right now, then maybe we fight at 40 for the moment, and maybe I can come back down after that to fight Lomachenko at 35. I would love a fight with him. I would definitely love a fight with him. I think the fans have been asking for something like that for a long time now. So that's a very interesting fight. And the only reason I would come down to 35 would be with a fight with him.
Now you obviously vacated your WBC title. That belt is now going to be contested by Lomachenko and Luke Campbell, somebody from our neck of the woods, as it were. What do you make of that fight?
That's a good fight. I still think Lomachenko's a better fighter, and I think he should win. But when he stepped up and fought Linares, an experienced fighter, world champion like himself, he had a little bit of difficulty. He wasn't as dominant as he normally is. And Luke Campbell is obviously also very experienced, very talented, and naturally the 135-pounder, the bigger guy. So that's going to complicate things, I think, for Vasyl Lomachenko. He just, I think, is a better fighter at a smaller weight class. 135 is already pushing a little too much, and that's where other fighters like Luke can have a chance. They're bigger and talented. They have a good chance.
Lightweight seems to be producing a lot of high-level prospects. We've seen Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. We've got Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis with super feather, but they're kind of lightweights who squeeze in. Who do you see as the brightest prospect out of those guys?
You do have a lot, and Devin Haney is one of them. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, they're the ones that are standing out the most, taking on bigger challenges already, taking on bigger fights. They're contenders now. The Gervonta Davis is still a little smaller. He might move up to lightweight soon, but at lightweight right now, Devin Haney is probably the one. Devin and Teofimo.
Now, just finally, because I know you've got to go, and I do appreciate your time. The fight that's been rumoured for you is Danny Garcia. I know we spoke off camera, but maybe potentially wasn't quite what it was reported. Just give us a little bit of an update as a potential opponent.
Yeah, look, that was something that was briefly, mentioned to me. If I'd be interested in maybe fighting Danny in the near future, I said, yeah, that's a good fight. Let's explore that. The day after that conversation, everything went out as if it was already a done deal, which I never discussed dates or venues or anything like that. But that's boxing, it's all right. It got a lot of people excited for it, so that shows interest, and I know it's a good fight. So, if it's not my next fight, it could be a future fight. But we'll see what's out there. I haven't really discussed much detail about that fight.
Just going to skim through this because I do know that you have to go. Thurman versus Pacquiao for the WBA regular. What do you make of that fight?
That's a good fight. It's a dangerous fight for Pacquiao. Thurman is strong, dangerous. I still think Pacquiao probably should win with speed and footwork that he has, and all the experience obviously adds up. But it's a dangerous fight. Thurman is young, hungry, and strong. I'm excited for the fight. It should be a good fight.
Spence versus Crawford?
I don't think it happens right now. If it did, that's like a 50-50 fight right there. That really is 50-50. Both are great fighters, talented fighters. Spence is a natural southpaw, but so does Crawford. You know, he fights southpaw very well. Most of the time, he's fighting as a southpaw now. So it's just a terrific fight.
Okay, and the last one, I promise. A lot of rumours circulating around your whole career about you and Mr. Eddie Hearn. What update can you give us on your promotional situation? I know Eddie has been a long-time admirer of yours and has tried to get you to sign with him in the past. Any update you can give us there?
Well, you know, we're always in discussions. We're always talking. You will see what's out there. If we can negotiate something, you know, well, and for both sides, it's not just me. It's got to be on both ends. You know, we're going to create a relationship. You know, if you can't just agree to something, you know, for the financials. You know, it has to be a good relationship, and you know, that's something that I'm always exploring as well. And we seem to have a good understanding of where we are in my career. He understands what, you know, a value I bring to the sport and to his company. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, well, Mikey Garcia, I've kept you long enough. Thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Real pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mikey. That's great. Thank you.